All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Going to be touching on the top plays and lineup process here for the conference championship games. Let's go in and get into it. So going to be going position by position like I typically would. I know I haven't done a DFS video in a while. It's just timing of it and kind of redundancy in it. Been putting out a lot of deep dive props content, which kind of goes hand in hand with what we'd be looking at for DFS, but thankfully this week had some more time, was able to do it. So and honestly, that comes down to the NFL schedule with the different days of games. It's kind of annoying for content purposes. So thankfully all in one day can put out content for you guys. But looking at right now, starting with the quarterbacks, to me it kind of seems like a more simple process. Like either you're paying up for Lamar Jackson, hoping that he has another good game. I mean, he has just been crushing. You look at the game that the Chiefs just had, they did give up a decent amount of points to Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson has been a much better version of Josh Allen thus far this season. And also Lamar Jackson does get back Mark Andrews, which is going to help him out. Now, maybe that does hurt his rushing upside a little bit, but his rush attempts prop is at 10.5. So we're going to see that he's going to be rushing the football a lot. He's been the quarterback that I have been ending up on, but if you choose not to end up on him, I think a lot of people are just going to be going with Brock Purdy. And I do think that makes a lot of sense as well. The thing with Brock Purdy is you're going to be stacking him with his receivers, probably Deebo Samuel, probably Brandon Ayuk, maybe Kittle. And you could also be saying, well, it is going to be a more difficult game for CMC going against the Detroit Lions defense. That is the best rush defense. And so that really is the decision that I feel like everyone needs to make on this slate. Do you think the Detroit Lions will be able to stop the production to CMC? It's a big question. And honestly, I'm going to make two builds. I'm going to have one where I say yes to that question. I'm going to make another build that says no to that question. And I can kind of show you guys that route as well. So right now, because I'm not playing Brock Purdy, I will be paying up for CMC, and then from there it becomes a big question mark as to which running backs we should be paying up for. To me, I like Jahmyr Gibbs the most. I think he has the next biggest upside on this slate. At the same time, he has not played as many snaps as David Montgomery the last two games. Now, personally, I think San Francisco is going to win this game. That is why I do want to be playing CMC over Brock Purdy as in my primary build. That being said, if they're playing from behind, I do want to end up on Jahmyr Gibbs. But if we're going to do that, that's going to make the pricing on the slate, it's going to make it very tight. From there, who do I want to roll with? Isaiah Pacheco is a fine play. He's a little bit banged up. Does feel a little bit touchdown dependent, but the offense has really ran through Pacheco lately. And I think they want to get him 15 plus rush attempts like they have basically over the past 2 months. That's led to a source of success for them. That being said, I do feel like he's a little bit priced up. To me, the next running back I want to end up on is actually Justice Hill, who played the most snaps out of any Baltimore running back last week, and he looked good doing it. Now, the concern with any Ravens running back is workload. It's been so difficult to predict on a weekly basis. You can't really trust it, but given his pricing, I do feel comfortable paying his price tag than I would for Gus Edwards. Maybe you guys think Dalvin Cook actually gets a little bit more work in this game. I don't want to bank on that, but maybe you just don't want to play another running back. For now, I do like the idea of playing Justice Hill. I'll show you guys kind of what we could do though after that. Looking at the receivers that we have on this slate, obviously, if you are playing Brock Purdy, you are just loading up on Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk. I really think Deebo Samuel is going to be a safe play, though. I think Kyle Shanahan is going to see the weakness in the Detroit defense and say, I need to get Deebo Samuel the ball. It did seem like last week that was going to be the game plan as well. He got 2 early receptions and then got taken out of the game. I expect the offense to kind of flow through Deebo Samuel. So the issue that you'll have lineup process-wise is, can you put Deebo and CMC into a lineup together? Probably not. For this kind of first build, I will be doing that. For what it's worth, ASB, his receptions prop is set at 7.5. If he's getting 7.5 receptions, we probably need to be ending up on him as well. And so you are going to see the plays that we're going to want to be on. Obviously, we're going to have to make some sacrifices to kind of the natural build that we're ending up on. Rice, I kind of feel comfortable fading. Zay Flowers, he's an okay play. I think he's a very safe play. I don't think we need to go out of our way to target him, but he is at a very cheap price tag. Juwan Jennings would have been like an easy plug and play if Deebo Samuel was out. We saw him have a good game with Deebo Samuel out. But in terms of value, we're going to have to find some value on the slate. Josh Reynolds did play a lot of snaps. And again, I would say in this lineup where we are favoring CMC and Jahmyr Gibbs, that does benefit Josh Reynolds a little bit more. That's basically saying we are targeting a more pass-heavy script in this game where the Detroit Lions are going to be 7-point dogs like Vegas is thinking that they will be in this game. So he does make for a logical value game script play. From there, I don't mind the idea of Jameson Williams a little bit cheaper. Definitely prioritize Josh Reynolds first, but if you can't and you want to kind of do that little game script correlated play, then Williams would be the next best. But I do really like Nelson Aguilar. Looking at his like receptions prop instead of 1.5, he had a touchdown in the last game. He has been involved in the offense. The chances of him scoring a touchdown are obviously very low, but he has been involved in the offense. The last 4 games we see here, guys, honestly, we would take all of this. Like even the 4 points or so they had against Miami, like we would even take that. Now that game was a blowout. I don't think we're expecting this game to be a blowout as well, but at this price tag, just trying to find some value that's not going to hit 0, he does make a lot of sense. He has been someone I've been going out of my way to play. From there, MVS, Justin Watson, I do think playing one of them does make sense. Do you want to play both of them? Probably not, but do one of them probably have a good game? Yeah, it seems to be trying to guess to get lucky in that situation. And then from there, let's move on into tight end. So for me, a very easy way to get unique on the slate, I think, is to do double tight ends. You could make a strong case for really any of them. So looking at Travis Kelce, he had himself a very good game last game. If you aren't playing Rice, it probably makes sense to play Travis Kelce in a build. From there, Sam Laporta has been extremely consistent. Again, I don't mind this play, especially in like a game script build. You could argue he is way too cheap as well. George Kittle, I don't know if I'm going to get there on this game. I don't think I love that, but he was kind of a play that fantasy score wise made sense to target him against the Green Bay Packers. That was something I mentioned on the props video. Again, very redundant with the content there, guys. But to me, Mark Andrews is the most logical play here, especially if you're playing Lamar Jackson, you're playing Mark Andrews. He is someone that, given the price tag, you could argue has the same amount of ceiling as the other two. Obviously not playing the last couple of weeks, been injured. You don't love that, but reports are that he is good to go. And if he truly is good to go, then I do want to be playing him at 5K, and I'm more than happy to do that. So defensively, I don't think it really matters. I'm probably just punting to the Lions. So for this example, obviously we can't make this work. What are some natural pivots we can make? Well, for one, you probably wouldn't have to go with Justice Hill in this lineup. Now, it's still not going to work, but I'm just showing you guys some pivots you can make. And then because we're playing CMC, it might tell us not to play Deebo Samuel. That's kind of the sacrifice that I'm making in this build. So we're going to go Lions defense, whatever. I don't really care. Lowest price defense. You guys know the drill by now. Hopefully, right? Been saying that for the last 2 years. It did seem like the public finally caught on after a while. So for me, I do think just playing one of the Chiefs receivers does make sense. I will say Noah Gray as a cheap pump play as well for a flex. I think that makes a lot of sense. Like Noah Gray has been someone that barely has given you a 0. Like it's just, I need 4 points at min price. I don't mind that. That's a good way to get unique. That's a good way to still fit in a lot of the studs. Obviously, you're not playing both of them together, but you know, if you do play Noah Gray, you could get to maybe like Zay Flowers in a lot of builds where he's at a cheap price tag. Obviously not for this one, but that's a route you could go. So let's just go back to MVS. Actually, I like Justin Watson a little bit more, so I'll just go with him. 4.3 left over. Don't exactly like this. Probably just going with Josh Reynolds in this situation. Let's go ahead and show you guys what it would look like if you are prioritizing Brock Purdy though instead. So already this lineup probably looks a little bit safer to a lot of people. Gibbs, Pacheco, you know, again, they're going to be pretty involved. Do you exactly want to play Jahmyr Gibbs? It's tough to say for sure. Like, I think he has a good high ceiling. If you wanted to punt to Justice Hill instead, you could. I think he's a fine play. But with this lineup, we're getting Deebo. I feel pretty good about that. Do we want to get to Brandon Ayuk? I mean, for sure. If we can fit him into our builds, we want to do that. 2.8 left over. We got to change to make this build work. Let's see. Can we go down here? Justice Hill, potentially. Let's see here. Honestly, maybe just punt with Noah Gray or try to get really lucky. Obviously, he would need to score a touchdown for this to work. But then you could go up from Nelson Aguilar. And then, well, look at that. You're going double tight end like I mentioned we could do. That's okay. Obviously, it's a 2-game slate. We're not going to have builds that we feel great about. That's just the nature of the beast for this 2 games. But best of luck today, guys, or for the 2-game slate. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. Do appreciate it. Let's have a good 2-game slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.